everybody. I'd like to sing a song. No, I'm just playing. It's my goal to wake you up if you're not up yet, because you all gotta still pack up your stuff and go home after this. So I'm gonna try to keep it light and fluffy for you. And I want to thank Tom for giving my whole speech. Where are you, Tom? But he had some really simple. This is how hurricane works. This is how flood works. And so my hope is that to answer whatever questions you folks might have. If you're gonna ask me questions like, does my policy cover? I'm gonna say, show me your policy. Only because I don't want to get sued because you guys suffer a loss and then I told you yes, and so the insurance lady has insurance, so go after her. So I'm trying to keep it nice and simple. I'll give everybody the same speech when they ask me questions. I like to be a little candid about it, and because we live in Maui. And so I like to say that, well, there's two hats to every question, you know. There's the insurance agent answer that you're gonna get, because if I'm your agent and there's a loss, you guys call me, you guys are going to want coverage on whatever hurricane damage causes, whatever flood damage causes, you guys are going to want that coverage. Alright, and then I'm going to put on my hat another time. Because we live in Maui, praise God, we're blessed. We haven't suffered the damages some of the other islands have suffered because we've been blessed. Yeah? So with that, I'm going to say this with the blessed hat on, not as an agent, okay? I think hurricane insurance for Maui, kind of a big waste of money, especially if you don't know what you're buying. A lot of people will purchase the hurricane insurance just to satisfy their mortgage, which is dwelling coverage only, 5% deductible, which is a lot of money when it comes to repairing your roof. So because of these reasons, that's where I kind of steer away from really enjoying selling hurricane insurance, just Maui. But if you are in Kauai, if you're on the Big Island, if you're on Oahu, I don't hesitate, don't skip a beat, because it's something that I think is absolutely necessary. And in any situation, especially when it's preparing yourself for a loss, is luck favors the prepared, right? And if you're prepared, then things like insurance you shouldn't be worrying about when there's already a moratorium and I can't sell you a policy and you want one. So the whole idea that I hope, and I'm thankful for WMTA, not just for the opportunity, but I'm thankful for MTA providing this venue to let everybody know what's going on. So, and I pray that it grows as, the only reason why I don't think there's a lot of people here is if this was on the Big Island right now after what just happened, I'm sure this place would have been packed out. But because we all walk around with the blessed hat, it's Maui. Nothing's gonna happen to us, but you better believe my phone's gonna blow off the hook in the event a hurricane does actually make it all the way to Maui land. So, anyway, with that, I kind of want to just go ahead and open up for questions, because in the end, that's really what it's all about, is getting an idea to throw out what you should have, what you shouldn't have, where you should focus when it comes time for your deductibles, things like that. And I know that we're talking about homes and such, but you guys should know the majority of your automobile carriers exclude hurricane. So wind, not really excluded, but if there's a hurricane, does your automobile provider provide that coverage? Or is your upside down car slammed into somebody else's house not really covered like you thought it was? So just a few of those questions, but or statements. And if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to raise your hand. Yes.
After a sale on the Big Island, I had heard that there was trouble with insurance coverage because it was tropical storm versus hurricane when it actually made landfall. Are there distinctions in coverage regarding the strength of the storm? Tropical storm versus hurricane?
Absolutely, and that's because the moment that it's declared that it's a hurricane, it's given the name, everything, then all the policies, your traditional homeowner policies that don't offer that coverage cease to help you out. And then as soon as the hurricane's entered into your territory, which is 74 miles an hour, right? And so when I say cease, I mean this, is that whatever damage the hurricane causes, it's very minimal that the homeowner's policy will pick it up because it's a hurricane as it comes through. So your policies, wind-driven rain, they don't really distinguish all if it's a tropical storm, things like that. But the moment it's named Hurricane Lester, right, you know, then that's where it switches into place. So we did suffer a few hurricane losses in the Big Island with this last one from Lester, but yes, and that's your traditional policy. And you guys have seen windstorm, you know, especially if you have a mortgage company that's saying, hey, send us a copy of your policy or we're going to gouge you, you know, and place it ourselves. So mortgage companies even get confused windstorm coverage and hurricane coverage because they name it differently in their contracts. So it's just making sure, again, your standard homeowner's policy, and I speak general now, standard homeowner's policy covers that wind. Not until it's an actual hurricane. Yes, sir.
How much is the price difference between hurricane insurance and regular insurance? I mean, is it that much more a month?
It really depends because the year and the make of your home is a single wall, double wall. Was it built after 1994 when all when the county increased their requirements and the type of hurricane cliffs and things that I think you spoke about retrofitting your home and things like that. All of those things are key factors into it. The last time you replaced your roof, or is your home over 30 years old? Is it lifted up on post and pier, or is it slab on grade? Is it a two-story home? So what do you call it? The type of roof that you have. Is it hip? Is it gable? Is it flat? The type of material on the roof. So it all gets thrown into this big bucket, shooken around, and then out comes a rate. So, but it can differ. So, I mean, I think we have like a brand new home. I'll say a brand new home with all the bells and whistles. You'll probably pay maybe, and depending on how much you're required to cover it, by either the bank or by yourself. You could pay $500 for a brand new home, or you're going to spend $2,000 on an older home that's not been retrofitted, that has a different type of framing. So it really depends.
And that'll be a yearly difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I tell this to all my clients. I don't care if you guys stay with me or go somewhere else, but you guys should always be bugging that, especially when it comes to hurricane, is shop that out every year, because carriers are getting smarter. Carriers are beginning to introduce credits that they never offered before. You've got some amazing companies that came on board. I mean, when I started, the first policy I ever wrote was Zephyr. And it's because it was one piece of paper and my mom knew I wouldn't screw it up. So it was one page. But so you have Zephyr, you have ICAT, you have Palomar, you have Hawaii Hurricane Group, which is also known as White Pine. Who am I forgetting? Well, I've got a brochure for all of them right over there. And the grand prize that they're gonna, well, not the grand prize, but a few of the prizes come from the hurricane carrier, Palomar, so I want to make sure that they get the kudos for that. But those are all factors. Anybody else? All right, thank you guys very much for your time, I appreciate it.